On this episode of the Chris Burkmenn Experience, I sit down with Carly Pearce in Nashville, Tennessee, and talk about her life, music, and passions.
Okay, all right.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous.
It's the president's wife.
Oh, Michelle Obama.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then I go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has her own TV show. She used to be on Good Morning America, I think.
Oh, Katie Couric?
Yep. She was on The Hills with Kristen Cavallari.
Oh, Lauren Conrad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
We're getting...
He's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp?
No.
No, Orlando Bloom.
Yep. He is a blind singer, piano.
Ray Charles?
No.
No, Stevie Wonder.
Yep. He's a wrestler, I think, and he got his ear bitten off.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh, he bit someone's ear off. Same thing. It doesn't matter what you mean.
He was in Footloose.
Kevin Costner?
No, but that was close.
It's
a type of food, is his last name, that you eat for breakfast.
Kevin Kellogg's?
From a pig.
Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Oh.
Welcome to Miami.
Oh, Will Smith.
Yep.
Yes!
You're
good at this.
I was gonna be like, don't stop.
We went through a lot. So, you are from Kentucky.
I am.
Mm-hmm. Taylor Mill. Mm-hmm. And you did a radio interview with WSM, and they fact-checked you on the population.
They did, and I got it wrong.
And what did you say, and what's the actual?
They asked me, put me on the spot, and I said 1,000, just because we have one stoplight, tiny high school. It's kind of like, I joke, as soon as you hit that stoplight, you're going to see somebody that you know, just every single time. And so I said 1,000, and immediately he said 6,000. And so I was shocked and kind of proud, but also like, oh my goodness,
Whoa.
I need to do my homework.
That's funny. And that gives a whole other, even just throwing in music, famous in a small town. I'm sure everybody there knows what you're doing.
They do. It's really fun. Taylor Mill's pretty close to Cincinnati, and so I get to be on the Cincinnati radio stations sometimes and the news stations, and so my hometown is really, really supportive in just that area, and so anytime I play in the Cincinnati area, they all come, and it's
How did you find out your gift?
I started singing before I could talk. My mom says the only thing that would keep me from crying was country music. And so when I was 6, she started kind of trying to find me a vocal coach, and we found one, and then when I was 8, I started doing, talent shows and things like that. And so if you asked anybody in my hometown, it was just Carly's the singer. So it's always been I started singing in bluegrass bands when I was 11, and just kind of always done the music thing.
Bluegrass bands. What was the name of the bluegrass band?
The first one that I was in was called One Iota, and it was the first time I'd ever been in a recording studio, and the guy that was running the studio, he said, our lead singer, she's moving to Nashville, and she was 25, and I think she was 25, she was in her 20s, and he was like, we would love for you to maybe come and front the band, and my mom was like, she's 11. And so I used to travel around. I went and played at an all-boys prison, I played at churches, I played just all over with this band and traveled around with these guys. But I mean, it's really how I learned how to sing harmony, how I learned how to, be in front of a microphone and just doing live stuff and not just tracks. So I loved it. Bluegrass is my other passion, other than country.
I love banjo. The banjo is my favorite instrument.
Banjo has to be in everything.
So you did the bluegrass thing, you toured around with them, that's great. Who was your favorite artist? Where did you get a lot of your influence from?
My grandparents loved country and loved bluegrass, so when I would go over, I was very close to them, and so my grandma always had, Bill Monroe on the radio, or Tammy Wynette, she loved her. My grandpa loved George Jones and Johnny Cash, and so that's kind of how I started there. But my parents, they were not really as familiar with the country world. They loved Fleetwood Mac and Led Zeppelin and the Eagles, and so I kind of grew up with, Americana music for sure in the mix, but just kind of getting all kinds of different music and kind of just finding what I loved. And then I loved Wynonna Judd as a kid and the Judds, because they're from Kentucky too, and so just kind of that way, and found a lot of bluegrass gospel. Sonia Isaacs was a big influence of mine from the Isaacs, and just all kinds of different everybody, pretty much.
Mixing pot and
Mm-hmm.
different.
But music was so big in my family. So.
Yes. You 5 years ago made the move to Nashville. What inspired that move?
Well, when I was 16, I was a freshman in high school, and I came home from my last day of my freshman year, and I told my parents that I wanted to quit high school and pursue music. And my dad is very businessy, and he was like, no. And so long story short, he let me take the summer to find a homeschooling program, and I found one, and so they let me quit high school and start homeschooling. And I saw an audition in Cincinnati for Dollywood, and I said, I want to go work for Dolly Parton. That sounds awesome.
Best job in the world.
Yeah, and so I loved her growing up too, and so my mom and I moved. I got a job singing in the country show over there, so I did that, and then I moved over to another theater called Country Tonight and did that for a year, and just after that I knew I didn't want to stay. It was very comfortable and I loved it there, and I totally could have stayed there, but I knew that I wanted to be an artist, just write my own songs and do my own thing. And so it was scary, but I knew from a little age that I would always end up in Nashville, but I kind of wanted to get some more experience before I moved there. And so I just always say Nashville's been my college.
It's true.
Yeah,
you learn so much here. And you know, I also heard that from Sarah Darling on Rising Star. She had just mentioned she didn't go to college, she went to Nashville.
I know Sarah, and so when she said that I was like, yes, that's exactly right.
I'm really excited for her.
I am
a lot
too.
Going on.
She's amazing.
Yes, and so you actually toured a lot. You went on the Country Throwdown tour?
I was on the Country Throwdown tour in 2012, which is kind of crazy because Gary Allen, Justin Moore, Rodney Adkins, Eric Pasley, Sonny Sweeney, and Florida Georgia Line was on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Country Throwdown, fired up by Kingsford.
I was only 8 years old when Mama took me to the ocean. I waded in with my hand in hers.
And so it's funny, I joke, they had a trailer and a van that they would follow the buses behind because they were the barbecue band, and they would come up and sleep on our bus a couple times a week just because they were exhausted. And literally 3 months after that, cruise just blew up, but I got to kind of watch that go from the ground up, and those guys really have worked so hard for that and are best friends and deserve it.
But so you did that tour, and that gave you even more experience.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was on a bus with 10 boys and one other girl, and so we had to learn close quarters with a bunch of boys in the hot summer, so it was entertaining for sure, but we had such a good time, and when it was over I was really sad. That's
definitely a large part of an artist's life is tour, so that's a good thing that you enjoyed it.
I did. It was a good little test run for me, but I did love it.
And so now you're recording your EP. It's almost finished.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the process and who you worked with.
So I've kind of grown up in the past 5 years just as far as what I want to say and who I am as a songwriter, what you know exactly my audience is and things like that, and it's definitely changed. And so I think these 5 songs are, you know, I'm not 18 anymore, but I'm also not, you know, 35 and married and have children, and so it's kind of I feel like that in between stage in life. I'm kind of in between, you know. I'm making mistakes and kind of flawed and you know, hanging out with boys and things like that. And so I feel like at this time in my life I'm the most confident in who I am as a person as well as an artist. And so I'm working with a guy named Jeff Pardo, and he's really big in the Christian market, and he's a great songwriter. He's got some country stuff going on, and but I just went to him, and we had written together a lot, and so he builds tracks and things, and so I started to notice a trend of people saying, wow, who produced that demo for you? And it was always, the common thread was Jeff. And so I just went to him and asked him if he would be interested in doing it, and we've had such a blast. He's such a talented guy and makes it so easy and so fun, and kind of brings, you know, I bring the bluegrass, but he can kind of move it towards that, you know, the Christian pop world, makes it sound a little bit more contemporary with what's on the radio, because I tend to just want to banjo everything up. So he's like, no, you need to come a little this way. So he's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I think you're really gonna like this new stuff. So
recently you were in Lucy Hale's music video.
I was.
Let's talk a little bit about the process. What was that like?
So I was fortunate enough to get asked to be one of the backup singers in her video, and we shot it at the Grand Ole Opry, which my dream in life. I always make jokes. I can die on my way home from playing the Grand Ole Opry. That to me is the ultimate making it. And so when I found out it was at the Opry, I was terrified because I had never really stood on that stage. I've been backstage but never on it. And so that was kind of surreal, and my friends who are in her band, they would make jokes because I just put my arm out all the time because the hair was standing up on my arm because I was just so freaked out to be there. But we shot, it was like a 14-hour day, and you know, you just kind of, I had her song stuck in my head. I still have it stuck in my head from that, just because you know, you sing it over and over and do different takes, and we get to work with her, and she's an incredible person. I mean, just being around her that long was just awesome to see how down to earth, and you know, she made everybody feel really comfortable, and so she's got, you know, lots of things going on, but it's really, really sweet. So I'm excited for her.
Thanks so much for coming on today.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I was so excited because I had some of the people who follow you, they suggested that I had you on, and I thought, well, why not?
And thank you guys for asking for me.
Yes, thank you. Until another experience, Carly Pearce and Chris Burkmenn signing out.